Consent calendar. These again are matters that are considered by the council or agency to be routine and will be acted upon in a single motion unless there are items on the consent calendar that any council member would like to have pulled. And I do have a comment card from Mr. Smith on item number 9.4, so we'll pull that for discussion. Any other items?
9.5 and 9.6, please.
9.5 and 9.6. Anything else? All right, let's first take 9.4. Mr. Smith.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and the council. 9.4, this is about prevailing wage regarding federal work and debarment on federal projects. I just want to bring one thing up to the council. Has been something I was after for a number of years in order to protect the taxpayers' money, is that on government contracts, city contracts, state or federal, there is a prevailing wage. But what that prevailing wage does is it says that if someone's doing the work of a painter, you pay them the work of a painter. Inside the documents for the construction project, it's up to the entity to call out the level of craftsmanship for that task. So if I took someone from the dais and gave them a broom and told them to sweep, they would be a laborer. Put a hammer in their hand, they're a carpenter. And then if I give them a paintbrush, they're a painter. And as long as I pay them the correct rate, it's legal. That's not saying the customer, which is the city and the taxpayers, actually get full value for the dollar of having somebody that's been trained in that trade to do the job. On debarment, this item covers federal debarment, which means when a vendor contractor fails to perform, they're debarred from doing work for a certain period of time. There's nothing on the state level or nothing on the city level yet. And I worked with Royce Cunningham over the last few years, and he's very close on a debarment ordinance for the city. And I would hope that this would be the stimulus to bring that forward. And the way the debarment ordinance works, it's for contractors or vendors. So if someone sells you a copy machine and they do a terrible job servicing it, with a debarment ordinance, you would not have to take their bid, even if they were the lowest. You wouldn't even have to allow them to bid. And if you found out that there was a contractor at Solano Community College that tried to defraud the college on a change order and they debarred that contractor, then that contractor can't come here and bid. And it's a way of weeding out people that can't perform work or have some type of model of low bid, change order, and claim the job. The goal for the agency should have the best price, lowest completed cost on the project, not necessarily the lowest possible bid. So I would ask that the council consider lighting a fire again under the debarment ordinance for the city, because there will be projects coming up in the future that you want to get full value of the construction dollar and protect the taxpayers. I brought up in the past that if there was a debarment ordinance in place, more than likely Kenco would have never been allowed to bid the pipeline because they failed to perform on a number of contracts. To the credit of the city, though, there is a pre-qualification package in place, so people have to pre-qualify to bid, and that's held claims and delays and change orders to a minimum. So I just wanted to bring that to the council's attention, ask that you please keep that on the front burner. Thank you.
Thank you.
Wait a minute, Mr. Smith. I wanted to ask you specifically, are you objecting to 9.4, the administrative letter, or whatever it was called, administrative policy prevailing wages? Do you want to see more in there? Do you want to see, are you asking to have it come back at a later time for an actual ordinance or resolution to that, to the effect of what you were speaking to, with language?
This focuses on the federal. I'm
Right.
just saying that within the view of the council, you need to focus on local work and a local debarment ordinance in addition to this.
Oh, okay.
Because this only is linked to federal money.
Right.
If you get state money or you just decide to do, let's say, a water treatment plant upgrade or a sewer pipeline upgrade, you need a local debarment ordinance and a level of qualification for workmanship to go along with the pre-qualification, so we get the best completed cost project, not the lowest possible bidder.
So does the federal law address the thing that you were talking about?
No.
About the painters and all the rest of that? Of being out of their classification and still getting the pay?
It depends on how the project's put out to bid. There was a project in town, the train station, that had federal money, and it had language in there about apprenticeship, ratios, and qualifications. So on that particular job, it was covered.
So
But sometimes it's just like,
do you cover them on a project-by-project basis, or how's
entities,
it normally done?
entities do that. The Navy, for the longest time, they had a standard language in the beginning of the contract that stated craftspeople will have been trained, certified, or graduated an approved type program or certified by like the state to do that type of work. That way, when someone came in as a plumber, you knew you had somebody that received training for so many years and was qualified as a journeyman versus going to Home Depot and grabbing someone and calling them a plumber. So the Navy did that for a number of years. The Air Force started doing it. Federal transportation projects have done it for a long time to make sure the road work was done properly. But there's nothing in our current language to do that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Smith.